Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Oatmeal, and I'll be playing the professor today. And with me today, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Candle, and today I'm going to be playing Dr. Crystal Everlight.
Mhm. Uh, Now, Crystal has been kind of, isolating. Um,
Hmm,
this is, taking place after, shattered reflections and uh
I think that might be the
and
only game that I can think of that,
yeah, the
with
only
a
like
prior
big
knowledge.
game I think that either of them were in. Yeah.
Hmm,
um and and Crystal kind of lashed out in the aberration investigation chat, and uh the professor is concerned. So he's going to try to find her.
yeah, because she's also not been particularly easy to find since then either. In fact, actually, she's probably not been that easy to find for a while.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and he heard that she hadn't really been visiting Aurelia much, if at all. Um uh which, I mean, she doesn't seem super sociable to him, but like the fact that she was going less than Azumi, it was like,
Okay,
that's
something's up when you're visiting less than Azumi.
yeah. Um he's not exactly a social butterfly either. um so he probably first calls the Juniper's house.
Yeah, well, that is where she's staying, so that's probably a pretty good place to start. And I don't know whether I should roll something whether she's there or not. Um, um, maybe just like a D2 or something.
Oh yeah, sure. I was just gonna go through the list of like places he would look.
Yeah, I just don't know where she is currently, 'cause
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess it probably depends on what time of day it is, because if it's early
Mm.
enough in the morning, then he might be able to catch her there, but otherwise she's probably already left.
Yeah, I don't think he would come at like a weird time of day. Uh, it's probably like either late morning, or afternoon.
Yeah, okay then. In that case, she's probably not there, but
Hmm.
he'd be able to get some sort of directions from one of the people in the house, TOC or Juniper or something, that she's probably at the university campus where her job is.
Hmm. Uh, the Which one? The Toontown one?
The Toontown one, yeah, that's where
Hmm.
she's been going currently.
Hmm. Yeah, in that case, he will go there. Um, Basically, he will take the teleportation circle to Toontown, um, and, uh, walk to the university and, uh, ask where, uh, Dr. Everlight can be found.
Alright, I think it would be funny if you had to roll something here to see how long it took Professor to find her. How many people actually know who Crystal is and where she works?
Oh, no. What am I rolling?
Oh, I don't know. I want to say like a history or something would be funny, but yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe a
Okay.
persuasion or
Uh, I'll I'll go with the history because it's still an okay roll.
yeah.
Let's see. This is. I mean, the roll wasn't great, but my modifier is good, so that's a total of 15.
Yeah, I'd say like you track her down, probably get like a little bit of a runaround, but track her down pretty
Mhm.
quickly. Like it's like, oh, that Dr. Everlight. Oh yeah, yeah, no, that's right over that building. That's where you'll find her probably.
Uh-huh. He gets his steps in. Um, but yeah, so I imagine it like I don't know, is she in like a office or a lab today?
Um, I think she might be in the library actually. Um,
Oh.
yeah, like you'll find her um with a pile of books.
Hmm. Yeah. So once he spots her, he'll come over and clear his throat so as not to startle her.
I think it'd be funny if I roll a perception, see how stuck in her books she is currently.
Hmm.
Okay, that's actually really good. Um, where is your? Oh wow, okay, that's a dirty 20.
Oh, so she's pretty aware right now.
Yeah, yeah. She, yeah, she might even see him coming, honestly.
Yeah, with a dirty 20.
Yeah, I think, it, she's kind of going to like, she looks surprised. I don't think she thinks that he's here for her. So just, a, hello, Professor, what brings you here today?
Well, I was looking for you.
Um, uh, me? All right. What can I do for you?
Well, uh, I wanted to ask you about something, but I don't know if uh this is quite the right place.
Yeah, okay. She is at least cottoning on to this is probably something private, so just
Hmm.
I do have a office space. Give me 2 minutes. She's just like looking at the books in front of her, like, okay, what can I get done in a short amount of time and not like have wasted this trip, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think she's gonna quickly like sort through the pile in front of her. Professor can
He'll
be
just take
nosy if
out
he
his yo-yo
wants.
and do some tricks. Oh, he'll be nosy anyways. Yeah. He will look at the books. Perception or investigation, do you think?
Probably perception is fine.
Hmm. Oh, okay. That's gonna be, I think, a total of 6. So no, he's too
8.
focused on his yo-yo tricks.
Yeah, she's moving them faster than he probably thought she could and is not
Uh-huh.
catching the titles. Maybe he catches like the word devil and that's it.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's actually surprisingly fast at sorting through the piles of books, and then before you can even really make anything out, they're gone. And she uses her like she doesn't tend to act very toony very often, but this is like one
Mm,
of the times that she actually is leaning into the gag a little bit more. Efficiency.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
so grabs the books, is like over by the receptionist, and then is back like it probably actually is 2 minutes exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Mm. And then yeah, she'll gesture to him and this way kind of thing, like to uh
Mhm.
up to her upper space.
Mhm.
Which I have no idea how far away it is from the library. But
Eh,
I'm not rolling anything for that because she would know her way from her office to the library.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
but
they
yeah.
end up there. Um, I imagine there's probably like a desk and a chair.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I think I've described it before as like these are like temporary like office spaces, so you know they give them
mhm.
to people who are who need them at the time. So like
Mhm.
very generic looking room with like a desk, a
Mhm.
chair, and then like an extra chair for people if they need it. And then
Yeah.
just like
Doesn't look very lived in.
no, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, um, I don't think he's actually going to, uh, oh, Professor, what are you gonna do? Uh, I think, all right, I think he's just going to like, lean against the wall, rather than sit in the chair. Um, just kind of casually.
Yeah, I think Crystal has like mostly busied herself with like clearing off the desk. It's probably got a lot of like paper and books and stuff on it. And
Mm,
like probably grabs out like a notebook or something like just in case because she doesn't know what
mm.
Professor's here for, but she knows that it's private, so
No.
so
Yeah.
that like yeah, just the all right, we shouldn't be disturbed here. Or at least
Mm,
if anyone is going to come looking for me, they'll knock before they'll enter.
mhm,
But that's pretty rare occurrence anyway, so
mhm. Well, um, I wanted to tell you that when we were in um, the sort of uh, hmm, sort of mental construct uh, that oh yeah, demiplane, duh. Um, thank you, Kit. I forgot what the word was.
feels very on brand
Um,
for Professor.
um, when we were in that demiplane, um, I sensed something odd on you.
I see. Can you elaborate?
Yes, it was another presence, something that didn't feel right.
Ah, I love you, Crystal. Good. I'm roll. Oh, you'll see. Ah, oh God, that might have been a deception. Oh God. Oh God, this woman is transparent in more than one way.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, yeah, Professor, she mm, does that seems to she does seem to know what that is. um, based on her reaction.
Mm. Mhm.
But what she's gonna say is just a ah, I see.
Mhm. Um, and well, I was wondering because you seemed a bit stressed. Um, if I could check something, may I see your hands?
Ah, oh God. I'm just trying to figure out what her reaction to that is.
Mhm.
I mean, she will. For starters, she is going to raise her hands, but I don't know if it's gonna help Professor much because she's wearing gloves. Um,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
just kind of raising an eyebrow, like, I will admit that there has been a lot going on at the moment. It has been stressful, but I am aware of this, of everything, and am been, sorry, um, I have been managing to, um, juggle all of my responsibilities despite that currently.
Mm, that doesn't sound like a great situation. And when I say I want to see your hands, I mean I want to see your hands.
Uh, um, yeah, there's definitely kind of bit of resistance there, like
Mhm.
do you mind if I ask why you want to see my hands?
Because if I see something in particular there, then my suspicions will have been uh confirmed and we can have a straightforward discussion.
Hmm. Okay. God. Okay. Are you going to try and be sneaky, or are you going to just be straightforward? I don't know what to roll for this. Like, maybe a D2 then?
Mhm.
Okay, okay, apparently she's willing to cooperate.
Mm,
um, yeah, okay. She does seem a bit reluctant. I
mhm.
think, but she also knows that there isn't really much stopping the professor when he's like this. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think she's going to sort of like stare him down for like a minute before like sort of like sighing and pinching the bridge of her nose and just like fine kind of thing. Um,
Mhm.
just well, I'm pretty sure I know what you're looking for, if that's the case. Um, I don't particularly like. Mm, I tend to find it easier with the gloves. But something tells me that's not going to stop you. Yeah, she's going to remove them.
Mhm. And what does he see?
Well, first thing that Professor might notice is they don't well, for starters, her hands are covered in like these kind of like um these burns that look like
Mm,
they're cracks, but they look like they've been burned into her hands.
mm,
And both of them like are like covered in them. Um
mm,
the second thing he'll probably notice is the black smudges on the tips of her left hand.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So he just looks for a minute and nods. Uh because I suppose you've had those cracks for some time.
For a couple of years now, yes.
Mhm. The discoloration, though, more recent.
What do you think?
I think you have overblot, if that's the correct syntax.
Well, don't think it cares about syntax. And she's gonna put the gloves back on, but you would be correct.
Hmm. Have you told anyone?
Ah, hold and know are two different things. But
Of
yes, other people are aware.
okay, how many?
Uh, okay, I'm, hmm, she, yeah, she definitely doesn't want to give a number.
Yeah, yeah, and he does. He catches that.
Uh, um, in fact, I'm pretty sure the thing that she says is enough.
Yeah, he just kind of winces, like, really, you really said that?
She's maybe a little bit annoyed by how many people keep, like, figuring it out and talking to her about it. So,
um, I. I expect that you understand the importance of letting people know when you have a condition, particularly a contagious one that can be treated. Uh,
I am well aware of everything around this, or at least as much as is known. And if it makes you feel better, you is one of the people who knows. Um, I have been
mm,
doing my best to manage it. and I have been doing my best to keep it from potentially contaminating anyone else. And
I
the
can see that.
treatment is not exactly the easiest thing.
Mm. He he looks thoughtful and then nods. You did manage to explain a little bit to me. Mm.
If you've managed to
Has
talk to you, then you're probably more aware of what's going on.
well, I wasn't talk. Well, I didn't. Hmm. It wasn't the main part of the conversation. It just kind of came up. Um,
Yeah, okay. I think she knows enough that I think she can piece together potentially what Professor and you talked about. Um
mm.
um I think that she kind of like takes a moment to like sort of like figure that out, and then, well, if that's the case, then you are probably aware that, and then you should be aware that it's not that simple, particularly for, well, you himself, for instance.
Oh, uh, yes. I. It prompts an overuse of magic and, well, he shrugs and then, like, does a finger across the throat gesture.
Precisely. Not to mention, from what you has told me, the current cure is not particularly without risk to the person in the current state anyway.
The potion? The lemonade?
Well, no, that that is n- what I meant is that in order to get rid of it requires a person to overblot, and that can very easily kill the person.
Oh, now that I didn't know.
Why do you think the potion exists?
Uh, I don't know what it does. I was just told that it helps with overblot.
Hmm.
Again, it wasn't the main thrust of the conversation. I just kind of got snippets that happened to be related. I don't even know who else has had it. I have a feeling somebody has, but
Mm,
nobody's talking about it. And that's worrying.
right. No, it's. I will. Yes, you probably wouldn't be aware. No, it's. Well, there have been other cases. You've been keeping me updated with that. There have been 3 incidents so far, as I'm aware.
Mhm. Three. Uh, people actually having overblotted.
Yes.
Hmm. I can't believe I haven't heard. How does that sort of thing go unnoticed?
I suppose.
I mean, it sounded pretty it sounded when he was talking about when it happened in the mirror, it sounded like something pretty drastic, usually.
Oh, I imagine that's less the um that's probably more the setting than anything else. A lot of drastic things happen in Inkwell that a lot people don't know about.
Hmm. Why I what I'm not really sure I understand what the motivation is for not talking about it. It's it's just a illness brought on by a magical parasite. Why how is there already stigma about it here? It's we just got here. Is there something I'm missing?
I'm just trying to like figure out what what do you like cuz she has like answers and theories of her own about it because I mean
Huh?
she's doing the same thing, but unfortunately she doesn't really want to particularly talk about it.
Uh-huh.
uh um I think she's just going to sigh and probably to do with the nature of the parasite itself.
Hmm. He seems thoughtful. Okay, from what little I know, I can see how it would keep people from discussing it before it gets um well, before everything comes to a head. But what about afterwards? I mean, if somebody's been cured, I would think I
Professor,
I would think that what?
the parasite draws the worst side of you out of you. Would you really want to talk about to other people about it after that happened?
It oh. Is it that drastic? I mean, I know he said that ink space was a backdoor into everybody's sort of worst traits, but
It might
and that
feed
it
on magic,
brings back bad
but
habits, but
it brings that out by pulling on its host's negative emotions.
mm, mm. Okay, well, if that's the case, if people are being uh, exposed, uh, made mm, vulnerable, then even if they're cured, I can see why they wouldn't want to. Okay, I understand.
Cool. She's just
Huh.
nodding, like, cool, glad that's sorted. Moving on.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I'm sorry, Crystal. You legitimately didn't know some of this.
No, that's fine. It's like, I
You
mean,
just had some very important missing pieces.
valid. Honestly. It's like, why isn't anyone talking about this? Professor, would you want to talk about this?
Yeah. Uh, hmm. Well, uh, is anybody else um studying it aside from yourself and you?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Hmm. Well, uh, hmm. If you'd like some help, I'd be happy to. Um, it didn't seem to take an interest in me when I interacted with you, though he's said that that uh, could change. It doesn't mean I'm immune or anything like that, just that I didn't get infected.
Well, that's at least positive, I guess.
Mm,
And the help would be useful. There's a lot about this situation that is very unpleasant.
hmm. Yes. I'm. Mm, well, as you were particularly uh, concerned about you himself. Mm.
Yes. If I
There's
may,
some
uh,
weird magic on him.
how much were you able to figure out?
Well, with Identify, I was able to notice some enchantment magic, um, and I think uh, something else, I don't remember. And oh, and then he's got his magical language, it's just common, but with like a whole bunch of magic behind it. Calls it old trade, and that's just full of magic. Just a sort of jumble of power. Um, don't understand it, but um, I he doesn't. Something's. Do you know? You know the spell True Seeing.
Yeah, she nods.
I was able to get a look at him with something similar to that. And what I saw wasn't I if it was you, it was a uh heavily obscured you.
Hmm. That is interesting that it's showing up in truesight like that. That lines up with what I saw using um, detect magic. That whatever magic was affecting you was active and covering him, and
Yes.
that you're aware that he wasn't always attuned, correct?
Oh, yes. That is um, kind of what we were talking about. Uh, well, I'm rather good at getting into places I shouldn't be able to get into, and so since he's trying to get back home, not to the mirror, but actually home, I was called to try to assist in that endeavor. So yes, I know that he was not originally a toon. He was human, real kind.
There was definitely a snort at the like I'm good at getting into places I'm not supposed to be. But she doesn't come on it. I'm just the
Mhm.
she looks like she's like debating on bringing something up. Um and then actually I might roll her a decision. Oh, you really okay. Yeah, okay, she's not pursuing that further, probably because she doesn't know what sort of access to like she knows that Professor is good at digging things up, but she doesn't know that he has um access to things that she doesn't that he could
Mhm.
potentially would be useful for like analyzing samples and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. 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 Um, okay, so she doesn't bring it up. He was talking about uh him being covered in magic and not being
Mm,
originally attuned.
yeah.
So it
Actually,
it's
what she
just oh,
actually
go on.
you go.
I was just stalling for time.
I figure what she might say instead is I do believe that um the human side of him is still there in some form, even if it's not, mm, I guess, surface level, for lack of a better term.
Oh, huh. You think so? How? Why? I mean, I wasn't able to see past all the goop. He was basically covered in it. I couldn't tell you whether that was a tune underneath or a real kind or a ghoul, frankly.
After last time you and I um in met in person, I
Mm.
took a ink sample from him.
Oh. And it wasn't, I suppose, a typical ink sample.
No, there was also human blood.
Now that is interesting. Huh. That is very strange. Hmm.
I've not been
You don't.
able to figure out what that means.
Hmm. You don't happen to still have some of it. I could take a look.
There's just like a like
I.
kind of raised eyebrow, like the where exactly would you take a look?
Oh, I have a lab in the ellipsis. A couple, actually.
You have, of course, you have a lab in the ellipsis. Ah, well, I'm.
And I happen to actually be pretty familiar with human blood.
Yes, that's probably unsurprising. Um, no, that I suppose that would make sense. And uh, it's worth a shot. And yeah, I'm gonna roll a d10 because she's digging around in her hammer space. Where is my d10? Yep. All right. Cool. She pulls out a container.
Mm.
Like one of those like proper vial storing containers. And
Yeah.
um undoes the like unlocks it, and yeah, she's gonna pull out the blood sample from you. It is labeled,
Mm.
and yeah,
Mhm.
Professor can see the like, I think Well described it as like it's like blood with like a layer of ink sitting on the top of it.
Yeah, or like hiding it, basically. But if you
Yeah.
disturb it enough, you can see the blood through it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Actually, she does hesitate at that before handing it over, and I can trust you to look after this, correct? You're not going to do mm, anything. I'm not getting another sample from you.
All right. Uh, I mean, have you, uh, I mean, probably, look, if you don't want to give me the whole thing, because I'll probably have to, uh, some of it is going to get, um, expended, in the, uh, process.
No, there's not. I can't think of anything more to do with the access that I have. I just.
All right, I'm not going to do anything weird with it. Just gonna run some tests.
Alright.
I'm not a vampire.
That's. Yes, that's nice to know. I'm sorry. I nerves and a bit high strung at the moment.
No, that's all right. I think I would be upset if somebody was doling my blood out too.
She does hesitate again, and just like, do you need something for that? Are you like, she's just like gonna pause, and I can probably get another container. Um, there is a lab not too far from here if you need something to store it in.
What? Store what in? You've already got this in a container.
Yeah, like, because I think she pulled it out, but she didn't like give him the container, just the vial. So
Hmm. I mean, is the vial closed?
yeah.
Oh, all right then. Uh, Let me think. What do you have in your uh pockets? Uh, do you have something that would keep this at least still enough to get back to the ellipsis? Uh, yeah, you do. All right. No, I shouldn't need anything else. Um, this should be fine.
Like, you can see there's like the why do you? Never mind, I'm not asking. Kind of like a moment before she's just gonna like nod and hand that over.
Mhm. I mean, he's not gonna he doesn't have specialized equipment in his pockets. He's just going to get out his like tinderbox and like pack it in there with something else so it doesn't rattle. Like he just needs to take it across the this teleportation circle. He's not
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely like that mixture of okay, no, that works fine, and the but proper procedure like mixing on her face right now.
uh-huh.
And you'll let me know if you find anything.
Oh, of course. You and you will be the first to know.
Right. Well, I can provide you with um what I've been able to dig up on Overblot. It's not a huge amount, but it might be useful.
Mm, yes. Might give me an idea of what to look for in the analysis as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and she's digging around again for her through her hammer space for her notebook this time. Yeah. Pulls it out fine. And then she's like flicking through the pages and then she's like, "Hmm. You don't you don't happen to know Sylvan by any chance?"
I'm afraid not.
Right, well, I might need to translate it first then. Then she's just like, yeah, like, okay. Um,
Oh,
like pulling
although
out.
um if you copy I mean, would you just be able to I don't know, is there a photocopier here? Because if the ellipsis could translate it for me. I just can't do it here. I never picked up comprehend languages or Sylvan.
Um, right. Well, yeah, I suppose that would work. Um, she
That
looks
way you don't
like,
have to write it all out again freehand.
yeah, she does look like a little bit, like, right, which way to the photocopier, like, I don't actually know how often she does, because I imagine she actually does copy things freehand a lot of the time because it's useful for her, like, um, learning the
Oh
knowledge as
yeah.
well. So,
And like a photocopier is like a bit uh for Toontown it's a bit techy, so they might only have one in the building.
yeah, probably. And like I imagine there are also like certain books and stuff where it like you can't photocopy them or things like that. So it's like
Mm,
it's it yeah, it's probably used by like particular students and stuff and like no one else.
mm,
Yeah. So like there's that moment of like Where's the photocopier again?
He can help look.
I mean,
Investigation.
I rolled a pretty decent roll for like a history for her, so like she does remember where it was. It's probably back down in
Uh-huh.
the library, like
Yeah, actually, that makes sense.
just like a bit of a groan in the well. I'm pretty sure there's only one photocopier on campus, and that's in the library.
Ah, well, let's not do that right now then. We can do that last.
Hmm.
Um,
Was there anything else you wanted to um
yes. I wanted to ask how you were holding up after the uh ordeal in the demiplane. Um, that was there was a lot of uh imagery and mm, uh interpersonal relationships that I understand might have uh you might be personally sensitive to.
yeah, Crystal's kind of just gonna like yeah, snort at that again in the I've been managing. I mean, she's not going to elaborate, so you're welcome to roll an insight on that.
Yeah, he looks doubtful. Uh I am going to roll while he says, "Well, you haven't visited Aurelia at all." Okay, insight. What's my modifier? All right, nothing. That's 16 total.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, she's going to wince at that, like, I know, I've been meaning to, but I haven't yet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with that insight, she looks tired, like more tired than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And a, there might be a reason that she's not been visiting the hospital that maybe doesn't have to do with Aurelia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's definitely high enough. She You don't recall her having like been checked up on in the hospital while you guys were there, like at the end.
Mm-hmm. He just sort of like tilts his head slowly. Crystal, did you ever get yourself checked out after that fight?
She does not respond, and the answer is no. It's very, very
Mm-hmm.
clear.
Yep. He uh, just like, uh, rubs his palm against his temple, and then, goes, reaches into his pocket for, a paper packet with something inside it. I don't know. Sounds like sand, maybe. Oh, right. Um, hmm. Let me see. Let me remember if this is a touch spell or not. Yes, it is. Um, so uh he just sort of he holds his hand out with the packet, um uh just sort of like he's not offering the packet, he's just like holding it against his hand with his thumb, like, how do you want to do this? Greater restoration.
Now I need to figure out how she's going to respond to this because the answer is definitely not like in the responsible way that she should be.
Hmm.
Just you don't need to. I'm managing just fine.
it's it's been like a month.
See? I'm doing fine.
You look very tired.
She is very tired. She cannot argue that. God, yeah. Gosh,
I know what he did. I can fix it. That's what the spell does. That's why I have it.
can you roll a persuasion?
Yes. Okay. 29.
Yeah. There is like she does seem like she wants to say no, but she can't like. Uh yeah, she can't figure out. Um, I think she's just gonna maybe like there's again like that resistance and then like I no I'm not winning this kind of thing and I've been reluctant to I've been reluctant to have magic cast on me considering how I got the overblot in the first place.
Oh, checking you.
I tried to use remove curse on you.
Ah. Considering that rune, no, hmm. Well, it's not a healing spell directly, but I could see how it wouldn't. Hmm. I can see how that would be a problem.
Yes. You can probably also see why I've been reluctant to spend time at the hospital.
Hmm. Some well-meaning uh, medic would uh, pull you aside and try to treat you.
Yes. It's, as far as I've been able to tell, the only person who's been contagious so far has been you. And the magic seal does complicate things, but I
Mhm.
did not want to draw anyone else into that, potentially.
Mhm. Well, I uh obviously I don't want to catch it, but frankly, I didn't get it from you, so I don't think I'm going to get it from you. I don't think enough has changed that it's going to have a different opinion of me.
That's a good point. It would.
At least I know what I'm getting into.
Huh, I suppose so. It would be useful to know if it's just you that is affected that way or not.
I'm not necessarily volunteering. I'll cast the spell on you, but I don't like I'm probably going to want to use your right hand. Uh
Yeah, that's fair. Like, Crystal wasn't like meaning that she was um like she'd more been meaning like the backlash that happened to you with the spell. Like, it would be useful to
oh, okay.
know if, but she's not gonna, maybe not gonna tell the professor that, because also that's like, because it hurt you is the other thing, and she has not
Mhm.
elaborated on that. Is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't know that part. He just thinks that she was like, hmm, you is contagious. I wonder if I'm contagious too, and I can give it to the professor. And he's just like, well, like, I'm willing to take a risk, but I also don't want to try to do that.
Yeah, she's not going to elaborate. She's just going to sort of like roll her eyes and just like hold out her right hand. Like, yeah, I wasn't going to give you my left one.
Yeah. Um, he takes the packet and crushes it in a fist, and it glows um pretty bright orange, 'cause it's a high level spell.
Mm,
Um, and he just takes her hand. And Greater Restoration cast. Um, it will uh positive energy. Um, y- you can end one of the following effects, specifically the one that he knows about. One effect reducing the target's hit point maximum.
yeah, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that works because I'm pretty sure World said that there's like Mew has special reasons why these sort of things don't work on him, but of course
Hmm.
the players don't, the player characters don't know that. But yeah, no, it
Yeah.
works fine.
Hmm. So yeah, she's still like tired and has overblot, but like there's a slight like relief, like little rejuvenation there, just a little.
Yeah, yeah, and now she's not going to be going into any more fights with like reduced maximum HP.
Yeah.
But I think the like I think that worked. It feels like it
Good.
worked.
Mm, felt normal on my end.
And no sign of overblot.
Nope. He will uh take his hand back and look at it thoroughly, even pulling the sleeve down. Like, nope, really nothing.
Well, I suppose that's nice to know. It definitely definitely makes it seem like you is the only one that people are able to catch it off of at this stage.
Mm. I'm not terribly surprised by that. I mean, he's a magical parasite, yes, and he's got that rune on him that absorbs magic, right?
Hmm.
So, it's kind of, I don't know. It makes sense that there would be a lot in there. I'm not sure how to.
You mean like
He like has an idea, but he's not sure how to word it.
you think that there is a certain level of the parasite needed to be contagious?
um, Perhaps he has had a more exposure than anybody else. It was common in the mirror, and he specifically helped people go through overblot. He was directly exposed multiple times. And if he had the Fasira rune the entire time from his start in the mirror, then, well, if there was, I don't know, if any of it gets, I don't know, I don't know what overblot looks like, but if any of the magic, if any of the it itself, the parasite gets, I don't know, splashed around, he's just gonna hoover it up.
That might explain the why there is magic obscuring him if there's that much of it.
Mm, maybe. I mean, it would sure as heck explain the goopy form I saw. If that's if that's if all of that is like overblot goop, ink, whatever it is. Not ink. Not that kind of ink.
I get what you mean. No,
Mm,
that would make sense. Every time every time you comes up I get more concerned.
mm.
She looks like she's
You,
itching to like pick up a pen and like note stuff down like but yeah.
yeah. Um, the professor has kind of like mentally switched tracks to a different topic of conversation already. So,
That's fine. I think
uh,
Crystal might be ignoring him right now. Like she's obviously like making a lot of mental notes.
yeah, yeah. Um, but he is thoughtful for a second, and you haven't been uh, back in the group chat for a while. I know that conversation upset you.
I thought it would be best if I took some
Took a
space.
step back, probably for the best.
Yes,
Has it helped?
I don't know. I But then again, I didn't think that I was being as affected as I was until that argument. And I'm not sure if I'm willing to.
Risk it again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Risk something else pushing your buttons.
Huh. Let's just say that is not the worst argument I've gotten into.
Mm. Mm.
I suppose I'm worried that next time would be worse.
Yes, I I understand the reasoning. Hmm, that's difficult because we know how this must be resolved, but the only thing we can do is delay it, but in the time that it's being delayed, you're, well, I mean, suffering is the word for it, really. Maybe you wouldn't be quite that dramatic, but it's not a pleasant thing to deal with. It is rather by definition uh as unpleasant as it can be.
I will admit it's not been particularly fun, but it's been manageable. And I don't really see much other solution.
Well, hmm, I I imagine the first case was unexpected and probably I don't know, maybe a bit traumatic as a result. I mean, not saying it's traumatic, not traumatic by nature to begin with, but especially not knowing what's going on. Um, but if one could essentially uh, induce overblot in a controlled environment, you know, have the lemonade ready, have, I don't know, people who could deal with whatever happens when it, I don't know, he described this like, uh, what was it? Was it a dragon or something? No, I don't know. This construct or something like that he had to fight in the mirror and then there's something about ink space. I don't know what all goes into it, but like, you could have people ready and make it happen, and then it's if it's going to happen, it wouldn't it be better to do it in a prepared fashion, because then you could basically have your best odds, and then it would be done.
Oh, okay, because Professor is starting to hit on the thing that Crystal has not been admitting.
Ah.
But I've got to figure out how she's gonna try and, well, how she's probably gonna try and weasel her way out of this one. Um,
Mm.
I think I've got like, in theory, it sounds nice, but there is far too much going on right now for it to be a viable solution right now.
What's hmm. I know it does hit rather hard. What's the recovery period like, if you know?
Mm. I don't remember, but I do think it was like, um, I think
It's
Crystal
like a
would
couple
know.
weeks or like
It
a
is
week,
like,
no?
it is, I think it's a couple of weeks.
Like I think at least one character I know was uh, like out cold for a week at least.
Yeah, yeah, and then
And
took a bit.
probably yeah, and then probably still not at their A game.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that, yeah, Crystal would know that because Crystal knows that sort of thing. She would want to know how long the
Yeah.
recovery period was. So, yeah,
Mhm.
um, yeah, um, from the sounds of it, it takes you out for at least a week and then longer to recover fully.
He does grimace a bit. Okay. I can see how uh somebody in your line of work and with with the kinds of projects you probably get into, uh that's uh that's it's not easy to just sort of set aside that kind of time.
No, especially considering things have only gotten busier recently.
Mm. Is is there anything that you could hmm, like with this overblot case and uh, my asking to, well, now try my hand at examining the blood at least. Uh, are there other things that you could benefit from help with, but perhaps haven't asked for help yet?
There's only so far that will get me. I'm still the leading
You
expert
are a
in my field.
specialist, yes. Right. Now I understand that, but just busy work, even. Somebody to, um, you know, uh, hand you the tools, somebody to run and make a coffee, intern stuff. You don't have to be that smart to help. It may not be a grand help, but help is help. as long as they're not being actively detrimental to the project.
Mm. I Professor, this is me we're talking about. I do not get along with people. You think an
Mm,
assistant is going to make that better?
not. I mean, I'm not suggesting like a single assistant for all the things that you're doing, but I mean, like, if you can find a friend who already puts up with you to some degree, who can assist you in one task or another, uh, somebody for one thing, somebody for something else, and that way you don't have to do it all alone. You can have at least one other person there to just just lighten the burden a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Oh, yep, okay. Um, yeah, she's just gonna, Professor, I can assure you I'm delegating tasks where I can.
Mm, okay, that's good. I don't uh that's
I've
good, but uh
I've had this for a
no,
while now, and I've been able to manage just fine. I have thought about
yes,
this a lot.
you keep saying that, and I'm sure you have, but delegation, uh, that is good, but it's not quite what I meant. I meant somebody working with you.
I, I'm not sure I see the. I'm giving the work to the responsibilities to the people that I know can take them. I don't see how that would change things.
Well, you're clearly still doing some of it yourself. So instead of, if there's something you simply cannot delegate, at least get some assistance on it. That's all that I'm suggesting.
Oh, she's just handing me, thank you, I will take your words into consideration. And I'm like, Crystal,
Ah,
you cannot say that.
uh-huh.
Uh, um, yeah, I'm sorry, Professor, you're kind of reaching a little bit of the thing that she doesn't want to admit to herself, let alone other people. I don't know if you're gonna get much budging on this topic.
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay. Uh, I think. Hmm, if he could probably tell that she's being really stubborn,
Yep,
and she's gonna keep being stubborn.
yep.
Okay. So he just sighs. Um, well, did, have you spoken with Tome recently?
It's funny the change in tact there because like Tome said something similar of you could get people to help and she's just like what are you guys like conspiring or something behind my back? I have. What of it?
Well, I asked him to speak with you about something. What did you two talk about?
I went to check up on him after the ethereal plane incident, which he
Oh,
seemed to be doing as well as could be expected after something like that. It seemed like you had things pretty well in hand.
hmm. I did my best. I happen to have a bit of experience in that particular area.
Yes, I figured as much from what Tome told me you were covering. And given what I now know the ellipsis can do, I makes sense why. Though I still have my regardless. Yes, it so I checked his health. We talked a
Hmm.
little bit, and that was kind of mostly it.
Okay. He didn't, uh, he didn't tell you anything that would, essentially add another responsibility to your pile, did he?
He didn't. Should he have?
Mhm.
She's very suspicious right now.
Uh, I had advised him to. However, given the circumstances, I am unsure if this is a good time.
You can't just. I mean, do I have to go back and talk to Tome again? Like, I will.
It's it's something that is being managed, and not just by his friends but also by a professional. It's just that your perspective would be helpful, but you have so much going on already, and it's not time sensitive like overblot is.
You are just filling me with confidence, Professor.
I don't. After this conversation, I don't want to tell you what it is, and I don't want him to tell you either. Not yet. Not until you've got less stuff going on.
I am perfectly capable of doing my job. Overblot or not.
I don't. it's not fair to run yourself into the ground just helping other people. Like, I get it, and it's kind of it's kind of a it's kind of a uh 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 staple of the uh medical profession, or even uh even the research end rather than practitioners. It is kind of a doctor thing to do, but it doesn't mean that you can just keep adding things.
It doesn't stop them from happening.
No, but there's that's why there's teams of people that take care of different issues. That's that's why it's not all given to one person to do. That's why people are working shifts, however long those shifts may be. And
Like,
and and even the most hardworking doctors sometimes need to go on medical leave.
Crystal knows this is all true, but this is like, ah, she's
She don't want to hear it.
she doesn't want to hear it. No, she's been managing pretty well of like talking herself around this topic rather than confronting it.
Mhm.
I don't know how she's going to respond to this because like this is not something that she wants to budge on, because that would mean admitting the thing that she still won't admit to herself about
Mhm.
overblot. Um
Mhm.
so she's kind of been hiding behind the I need to do my job kind of thing. I can't afford to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. He understands that to a degree, or can relate to it, you know?
Hmm.
Uh, in a different aspect, maybe not as much of a professional flavor to it,
Mm,
but
mm. Yeah, yeah, the professor probably would understand that. Like,
need to keep going for
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so unhealthy, but this is like
Yeah.
not in a great spot right now.
No, no, and he's he's trying to appealing to her logic because he knows like he knows that the overblot is going to make her reactions be the worst ones. you
Hmm.
know
Yeah,
her instinctual reaction to a given problem is going to be an unhealthy one.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
trying to work around it, but it's not necessarily working.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is kind of working, but um, yeah, like
Limited.
Yeah, limited working, and she is struggling to come up with counter arguments, but there is still that stubbornness of no, but I can do this. I know the statistics, but that doesn't apply to me.
Uh-huh. Oh, goodness. Mm.
Yeah, she's being incredibly stubborn right now, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know you're working on that, the case with the dragon as well.
Yes.
And I'm sure between all the things I do know, I still don't know the half of what you've got going on.
Many cases. Mostly work.
Mm. Plenty of that.
Like I said, things don't stop just because we would like them to.
I know that. But sometimes we have to stop.
Yeah, there's a I think she's gonna like um yeah, I think she responds with just like a perhaps. Like, yes, she understands that, but also
Mm.
that yeah, no, she's not willing to stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Fine, I will concede the tome thing for now.
Thank you.
But if it gets worse or time sensitive, then
Then I will tell you if something changes for the worse. For now, it is being managed and it is developing in a positive direction. Uh, uh, however small that slope is.
all right. Then I do trust you and the others on this matter. I know that you're capable of taking care of it.
Consider it another delegation.
Hmm, quite. You
We'll
just
cover
not
it
look.
until we'll cover it until you're in a better state.
All right, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
No. I'm afraid there's not much I can do about that.
Just making my position clear.
Fair enough. Well, that means I don't get to yell at Tome for not telling you. He gets out of that one.
I mean, you can still yell at him if you want. It would make me feel better.
Hmm. I'll give him some pointed words.
From the sounds of it, you already did that after the um ethereal plane incident. He told me that he had
Ah.
gotten quite the dressing down from everyone already.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Uh, I'm just glad that's over.
Yes, I can't imagine how scary that would have been.
Mm, yes, it was mm, more than just being stuck. There were things in there, but that's not really my story to tell.
I got the broad strokes from Term. I didn't figure it was my place to dig deeper.
Perhaps not. Then again, I don't know.
I'm a doctor, not a psychologist. I do not I do not work well with feelings.
Well, that's all right. Suppose that's fair.
And how have you been dealing with everything?
Mm, uh, he sort of like tilts his head for a minute, like thinking, like, what is she referring to? But but then he finds something, um,
Well, I think
and
if he
just
gives the like the weird like the tilt of the head is like, well, it would be rude of me not to ask is just her like there's been a lot going on.
yeah, yeah. He does seem to find something though, and like nod. Um, it shrugs. Um, better lately. Um, uh, I can tell you that being grounded has me a bit uh, mm, uh, antsy, but not much I can do for that except keep working on the ellipsis and making sure I um, get out enough.
You don't like being stuck in one place, do you?
I really don't.
It's I'm sorry you're having to deal with that.
He shrugs. It happened. At least it wasn't uh, purposefully malicious this time. It was just an accident.
Hmm. And I suppose there are worse places to be stuck.
Yeah, there are. There certainly are.
Well, I can't say that I understand, but I hope that you manage to. Mm, Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how she would word this.
Mm.
I hope that you find some way to ward off the wanderlust, at least for a little while.
I've he gets a sort of mischievous sort of look. I've been managing it well enough so far.
Oh, yeah, you're getting a very unimpressed look. She can tell what you're doing. She doesn't. She's not impressed.
Uh-huh.
It was just a
Uh,
deadpan, like, I'm glad. kind of.
no, but he laughs and it's just like, uh, there's plenty. Um, there's plenty here, even just in Angwell, that I haven't seen yet.
Yes, I'm sure. Where where exactly have you managed to check out?
Mm. Gosh, um, a lot of places. I got sent to the Independent Isles by accident. Um, Mishap with some monsters that can teleport you. That's uh
She's not
was
commenting on
where
that.
else? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd spent a lot of time in Toontown and Villestown. I've been to Goodtime Town, spent a bit of time there. Um, I went to Fruit Country recently. Lovely place. Must go back again and explore more. Um, where have I been? I've been to eh, uh, what's the oh, the town's name is escaping me, but nice little place in the Ghibli Empire. Um, was in uh happiest place briefly. Where else? I don't think I've been anywhere in the Worn Desert. No, I haven't been there yet. Maybe I should go there. Um, and then there was a ski lodge in um Ghibli Empire, but that didn't go very well.
The vampire's correct.
Yeah, that was the vampires.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like you've managed to get around.
I have, and that's just Inkwell. I've been to, well, one or two places in Furuma. Actually, wait, is Fruit Country in Furuma? I think it is. I'm not sure. Need to look at a map.
I'm pretty sure Fruit Country is in Inkwell, but it's been I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like you've had, yes, quite a lot of Inkwell covered. But I'm sure that you'll manage to find somewhere new. There's a lot of unique areas in the continent.
Hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think of recommendations, but none of them are coming to mind right now because I don't remember any of them.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. I was uh I was wondering if a mention of one of those places might have jogged her memory on something, but that might not be something we want to bring up right now.
Yeah, no, she's still rolling pretty low on her history. I think
Man.
there's a moment of huh, I know that place.
Yeah,
Uh,
unfortunately, it is a popular tourist destination.
yeah, yeah. So she's not putting things together yet, which is probably not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've been rolling histories for her now, so one day she will figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Hmm. Uh, I'm trying to think if he has anything else to, like, address with her. Um,
Hmm.
uh,
Well,
I think. Oh, yeah?
I can't think of any of the places off my top of my head, but I do think that like Crystal it's sort of maybe a little bit half-hearted because
Hmm.
yeah, but she is trying. She's just recommending a couple of places she can think of that she's been to that weren't so bad. I think most of them are
Mhm,
in Ghibli area, but yeah, there are
mm,
some more around like Giznap as well.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. He'll he's receptive to that. Just sort of like, you know, making a mental note, like, hey, if I'm in the area.
Hmm. Yeah, he can tell sort of from the recommendations that they're either things that places that she went when she was quite small, or
Mhm.
she was there because she was at the university there. So there's like mention of like
Yeah.
the sort
Mhm,
of like education system.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm. So, are you going to be able to keep people who know updated on your condition?
I believe so. I've been in communication with them.
Hmm. All right. If if I find out that things have gotten worse and you haven't told anyone, I am very likely to start telling people, just so you know.
Well, that does answer my question of whether you were going to tell anyone or not. Um, I will. I cannot
I mean, you
promise that
already
it
knows.
won't because of the nature of it, but I will do my best to keep everyone informed of it.
Hmm. Yes, well, and if it gets to a point where you become unwilling to do that, then that perhaps is an indicator in itself.
I suppose that's true.
Well, um,
But I would appreciate you not telling people unless necessary. I don't. There's not a lot that can be done at the moment, and I don't want to worry people.
if I won't go out of my way to tell somebody who doesn't already know. But if somebody asks, he hmm, he's kind of looking like he's not sure if he wants to uh like he's not sure if he's asking for permission to say something or if he's going to say something anyway.
And is just giving her a heads up.
Yeah, like he's not sure. Um what would you prefer I do if somebody asks? Because I'd prefer not to have to lie to them.
I know what I would prefer to happen and what realistically will happen, and I won't ask you to lie for me.
All right.
Even if I would appreciate less people knowing.
I can I can be discreet.
It's like um
Yeah. Can
she's
you?
gonna there is a bit of a snort at the oh, can you now? This is news to me. It is a little bit of like a joke. Like she
Mhm,
does
mhm.
appreciate it, and she does know that he can actually keep secrets because like um
Right.
they did have a conversation about his health and stuff. So she knows that
Yeah.
he can keep secrets, but also like oh, she's taking that jab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he grins because he knows uh he knows he has a big mouth.
Hmm. I do think after a moment though she is going to just thank you. I know that I have not exactly been the best at expressing it, but I appreciate what you're doing, and I also appreciate you standing up for me in the argument, trying to keep things smoothed over. I did notice that.
Hmm. It only seemed fair, but you're welcome.
Yeah, she's not saying anything more than that. That was already a lot for her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, and I think he gets that.
But yeah, there is a little bit of a I have not always been the best towards you, and I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Even
Uh-huh.
if I don't regret calling you out on those things.
Yeah, yeah. And uh he's I think she left before he maybe elaborated, but like she definitely had reason to call him out for various things.
Yeah.
uh that it was not at least in his cases it was not all uh superfluous um scolding.
And Professor is not like he's the sort that can generally tell the difference between this is actually legitimate criticism and the person's just blowing off steam because they were worried.
Yeah, 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 especially because he had insight into that particular situation.
Yeah.
Uh, he was able to get that real quick. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else that he actually has to um address.
Mm.
Uh, I think they just wanted to like copy down those notes.
Yeah, yeah. I think actually that's probably like would be good timing because I think Crystal will be like, "Yeah, all right, I'm out." That's
Hmm.
my emotional quota for today. So let's get you those notes. Um,
Yeah.
she's great at this.
Yeah. No, and he'll he'll take the um he's not going to push back on this he knows it's been uh this has been a lot,
Mm,
and he's been trying to make it not be too much, but be firm, but not too much that she snaps.
yeah, yeah. He did a pretty good balance of that, honestly. Like, I think there were some places where he possibly could have dug further in and actually gotten her to admit things, but then it would have been
Mhm.
like he would have pushed her over the edge in order to do so, I think.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
good progress. At least it's like
Yeah.
planting the
It's a good
seeds of
first
things.
go. Yeah. Yeah. Like probably the next time they interact, he might uh not be as gentle about it.
Yeah, yeah, well, the next time they're going to interact is probably going to be after the professor managed to get himself into a bit of a sticky situation in the sewer, so.
Yeah, that's true. They're gonna have something else to talk about. Uh,
But at least she's not going
Lord.
into that situation with like a lowered maximum HP, which she was 100% fully
Mm,
expecting to, and I'm like, God.
yeah, yeah. Oh man,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
But
Uh,
yeah, I think they get their notes, uh, and he'll take it as his cue to uh vamoose.
it's kind of funny just for a little bit of flavor. On their way to the library, Crystal 100% has her nose in her notebook and she is rapidly making notes and walking at the same time and just like weaving in and out of the crowd, like not even looking where she's going.
I love that.
Because she needed to make notes and add them to the overblot section from what her and Professor talked about before she handed him over the notes.
Oh goodness.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
Uh,
that was a good check-in.
yeah, yeah, definitely went pretty well. I'm glad she was actually like pretty receptive to the professor's poking this
Mm.
time.
Yeah, she's not always. She can be kind of prickly.
Yeah, yeah, he's managed to like the the fight kind of put her on the edge of okay, yeah, no, I'm willing to be like to have someone be nosy right now because
Mhm.
yeah.
'Cause that showed her hand, so someone's gonna ask,
Yeah, yeah, and at
kinda.
least she has like some like he was defending her, so I'm not feeling like defensive towards him at the moment, and I probably should share this.
Yeah, he knows he's gonna be talking about this, he's already gonna be coming from a place of trying to be understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Woo! Alright. that is gonna do it for us.
Yeah.
Uh, thank you, listening audience, present and future. We will bid you all a good time zone.
Hope you have fun
Bye.
listening. Bye.